Emrakul, the World Anew is probably one of the most powerful Eldrazi's printed to date, but the wording on the card can be a little confusing. So in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly what Emrakul does, what exactly they have protection from, a cool turn 3 combo that you're likely to see in the future, and how you can deal with this card if you're on the receiving end. Let's jump into it. So Emrakul is a 12 mana, 12/12 legendary Eldrazi that says, when you cast this spell, gain control of all creatures target player controls. It has flying and protection from spells and from permanents that were cast this turn. And when Emrakul, the World Anew, leaves the battlefield, sacrifice all creatures you control. And finally, they have Madness, pay 6 colorless mana. So let's start at the top of that text box. When you cast this spell, gain control of all creatures target player controls. So just like the previous Eldrazi Titans, this ability triggers on cast. So when Emrakul gets put on the stack, this ability triggers, meaning even if Emrakul gets countered, you still get to gain control of all the creatures target player controls. And because Emrakul never leaves the battlefield, you won't have to sacrifice all your creatures and the new ones you just gained control of. One final note, this ability will always resolve before Emrakul. Next line, flying. Well, that part is pretty self-explanatory. And protection from spells and from permanents that were cast this turn. So a quick reminder, protection means a player or permanent with protection X can't be damaged by, enchanted, equipped, or fortified by permanents with quality X, can't be blocked by creatures with quality X, and can't be the target of spells or abilities from sources with quality X. If you want to learn more about protection, be sure to check out this video here. So in this case, spells, as per Comprehensive Rules 112.1, is a card on the stack. So Emrakul has protection from all spell types, including instants, sorceries, and enchantment spells. So Path to Exile, Dreadbore, or Pacifism won't be able to target Emrakul. Don't forget, creatures are spells too while on the stack, so Emrakul has protection from them too. So creatures with cast triggers, like Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, won't be able to target Emrakul either. Next part. Protection from permanents that were cast this turn. This part is slightly easier to wrap your head around. All you have to do is check, was this permanent cast on this turn? If the answer is yes, Emrakul has protection from it. If the answer is no, then they don't have protection from it. So a good example here would be Solitude or Leyline Binding. Both of these cards have triggered abilities that can exile creatures when they enter the battlefield. So a cast Leyline Binding or Solitude will never be able to exile Emrakul because they were cast this turn. Now, an important thing to note here is the spell must be cast in order for Emrakul to be protected from it. So if there was an Emrakul on the battlefield and you already had a Solitude in play, you could simply cast Ephemerate on the Solitude. When the Solitude enters the battlefield, it will be a new game object, and because it wasn't cast, you'll be able to target Emrakul with its ability. The same would be said if you put a Leyline Binding into play with something like Show and Tell. The Leyline isn't being cast, so you can exile the Emrakul. Let's talk about that final ability, Madness. Madness is a mechanic from Torment in 2002 that says, if you discard this card, discard it into exile. When you do, cast it for its Madness cost, or put it into the graveyard. On the surface, this looks like a way to get a discounted Emrakul, but one of the most overlooked things with Madness is that it breaks timing restrictions. If you want to learn more about how to break timing restrictions, you should check out this video here. In short, because Madness tells us cast it for its Madness cost, we can cast Emrakul at instant speed. Here's a situation that we're likely to see going into the near future. Our opponent has the 3 Tron lands in play, allowing them to generate 7 colorless mana, and they also have the Underworld Cookbook in play too. Because we're playing mono red and we fear nothing, we attack our opponent. But before damage is dealt, they simply activate their cookbook, discarding Emrakul. The Madness ability triggers. They then tap their Tron lands to generate 6 mana to pay and cast Emrakul. Emrakul's cast ability triggers, and they gain control of all of our attackers, preventing any damage that would be dealt to them. And now they have all of our creatures and a 12/12 that are likely going to win the game on their turn. So how do you deal with Emrakul? There are a couple of ways. Firstly, you can use cards like Whirlwind Denial and Summary Dismissal to counter both the Emrakul and the triggered ability. As don't forget, Emrakul's protection from spells ability doesn't kick in until they're on the battlefield. Secondly, if they're already on the battlefield, you can use non-targeting, non-damage dealing board wipes to destroy it, like Day of Judgment or Black Sun Zenith. And finally, you can hope you have a permanent on the board that could deal with Emrakul the turn before they come into play. So anything like Avatar of Woe or Varaska Relic Seeker. But in all honesty, the best way to deal with Emrakul is likely going to be using flicker effects like Ephemerate or Scroll Shift on cards like Solitude and Leyline Binding. So, what do you think of the new Emrakul? Do you think it's going to break Modern? As always, be sure to like the video if you learned something, watch these videos if you'd like to learn more about protection or breaking timing restrictions, and subscribe because if you don't, I promise I will unleash the Eldrazi on Bloomburrow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.